What is up, everybody? Matt with Mikey Designs here. I've had questions about, Matt, what happened to the automatic press, baby? What happened? Where's it at? I thought you were automated. Well, we'll dive into exactly what happened and the reasons why the automatic press is no longer in the picture. Stick around as we talk about it. So what happened to the automatic press? Where'd it go? What's the deal with that? And what it all really comes down to is I've been screen printing full-time since 2014 out of the garage, as you see here. The things about owning your own screen printing business, doing it manually from home, especially for someone like myself that went to school for art, it is something that's really hard to figure out. Being a great business owner and making things work. So that's something that I'm constantly learning. And essentially, I was in a relationship, had kids, the relationship fell apart. I was out in Sugar Land, ended up moving to the complete opposite side of town. We're in Houston, Sugar Land, Kingwood. These are all suburbs just outside of Houston. Houston's really large. So basically, I've had a big life change over the past year and a half, maybe even 2 years now. So that had really set me back kind of personally, financially, and business-wise, because I did set the basis of my shop in Sugar Land. Even though I was working with people all over Houston, the majority of my business was out in Sugar Land, and a lot of people knew me and dealt with me out in the Sugar Land area. I still get phone calls to this day from my Google business listing from people out in Sugar Land, and a lot of them are understanding and are cool with me shipping shirts to them. But then there's a lot of people that aren't, and they just kind of want to swing by. Even though it's a home business, we do have people come into the shop. There's a lot of people also that want to swing by the business, and as soon as they find out it's a home business, they're like, nah, it's okay, we'll look into somebody else. So relocated, had to kind of re-establish myself again out in the Kingwood area. Held on to a lot of clients that were understanding out in the Sugar Land area. And even the Houston area, it really wasn't that big of a deal. They didn't mind paying shipping. And the automatic came into the picture in February of last year, 2017. I was presented with an opportunity to work with a good client of mine, or he was a client and decided to start printing his own t-shirts at home out of his garage. He got a cheap Chinese press, a conveyor dryer, started learning how to screen print his own apparel, and a lot of it was because of the fact that I had a hard time adjusting, moving out to a different location, getting everything set back up in the garage just the way I wanted to. And he was real cool about it, understanding, and so he decided to try and do that himself. Well, he learned how hard screen printing actually can be. After getting his manual set up, he decided to get an automatic, a Rock of all automatic. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's no doubt that Ryonet, they're great at selling products, and the Rock is an awesome machine. And Harry, who I was gonna go into business with, decided he was gonna get a Rock automatic and contacted me. He's like, hey Matt, let's partner up. I think this will be great. I know some about screen printing. I can bring a lot of clients in because he's a retired police officer, very successful businessman, has 3 separate businesses, and wanted to make this his next venture because he does do police escorts, and it's pretty dangerous. So he's looking for something else to get into and start multiple locations. Well, to me, as a guy that was has always been in the garage, looking to get out of the garage, and especially automated. I'd looked into automatic presses. They're quite expensive, whether you get a used one, get a brand new one. They're an expensive piece of equipment. Hell, even all this manual stuff in the shop, you know, it's not cheap. And financially for myself, I could not afford nor get financing for an automatic just yet, because I do have some loans that I'm still paying off my dryer, and then I also took out a business loan that was just kind of a working capital loan, so that way I could do this full time. So it seemed very intriguing because Harry was able to get that financing for that automatic. I'm not sure that the Rock was probably the first choice I would have made. I might have got something used, or maybe something a little more affordable from Workhorse. He knew I knew my stuff, so we started working on a partnership, a 50-50 partnership. He grabbed a partnership agreement that was a generic partnership agreement offline, filled in our information. It's like, here it goes. Let's just sign this and we'll split everything 50-50 and we'll go to town. We'll start making this business work. To me, that was appealing because during the slow season of the end of 2016, 2017, because I was having to build up that new clientele, things got really slow and it was hard for me to make ends meet. So I ended up taking on a job and going back to printing t-shirts part-time. The thing is, the commute was far, I was underpaid, the employers were a small franchise. It was for Minuteman Press, and they're great people, but at the same time, I would go to work, come back home, and take care of my orders. So I was working some long days, working well into 3, 4 o'clock, and then I would have to wake up and travel to work. Well, it started to show and wear on me. I would go into work absolutely just exhausted. Granted, because I do know my stuff, I'm not like tooting my own horn, but I'd been a graphic designer for 15 years. Worked for myself for a couple of years, didn't let them know that, went in, took the job, increased their sales from $10,000 a month to $20,000 a month. They were really happy with my work. The artist that was working there before just didn't really know their stuff, so they were happy to have me in the shop, but also at the same time, I was showing up late, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. One day I didn't finish printing shirts well until 5 or 6 in the morning, and then I tried to get a nap, and I was an hour and a half, 2 hours late. And then also I had to deal with child support stuff because I was going to court, and so as soon as I took this job, I was just kind of the first couple months not very available. When I took on that full-time job, that came problematic too, because then I started losing clients because I could not get around to them quick enough, get their art done and their shirts printed quickly enough. So I started losing clients again. And by the time things started picking back up in April, I was late again to work and actually quit on my birthday and went back to screen printing full time. So it's been this past year has kind of been all over the place, past couple of years. So the attraction of going into business with Harry, this retired police officer, great guy, seemed very appealing. Had a shop, an automatic, a hot rocket conveyor dryer, just getting everything set up. It was looking pretty promising. And then what happened was, the more we got into it and started working together, I realized I was working for someone again. I'm partnering up with somebody. I wasn't the one that had full control over it and had to answer a lot of questions, which that's not why I went into business working for myself. Is I want to be the owner and have a lot of control. Plus, he really was just going to be bringing the business in, and I was going to be doing all the work, all the artwork, printing the t-shirts, separations, all that stuff. It was mainly up to me, and he was going to bring work in and help when he could. That really just didn't kind of sit over well with me, that I was going to be doing pretty much all the work. Granted, he had financed this awesome press and got a shop all set up. And another thing is, I didn't want to squash my own company. I didn't want to get rid of my company's name to take on another business's name. We actually decided to start a new company, and we were going to call it Ink Bucket Prints, because we went through a bunch of creative ideas, and I put a lot of time into that as well. The legal side of it, when it came to signing the documents, Shannon the shop gnome is a really smart girl, went to school for law, so she said, let me take a look at this partnership. This does not really work out in your benefit, Matt. She was looking after me and also after Harry. And we bounced the contract back and forth, and Harry's wife is his 50-50 partner in everything as well. So there was a lot of going back and forth, and we just couldn't come to an agreement. I personally had put money down on an apartment, was going to move to a different side of town, put my stuff in his shop, realized everything wasn't going to fit, decided we were going to get an additional shop to put my manual setup in, and we were just going to try and bust our asses making this work. The more and more I looked at it, it was kind of a pipe dream, and for him, he has his apparel line, which he uses it for, and he's able to pay the bills, and I'm not sure if he's making any profit off of it. But for me, that was really risky because I had to have a place to live. I have to have a way to support my family, and that was very uncertain. And Harry had to even mention, well, what about living in a shop? Well, I couldn't exactly do that because my kids would have nowhere to sleep. I would have nowhere to bathe. So I thought about it as we kept working. He kind of made it seem like, hey, this is the Matt show. I was trying to work with him the best I can. I'm not the hardest person to work with, but also at the same time, like I mentioned, I do like having the reins on my own company and just did not want to squash that. So that kind of fell off the radar for a while, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go back into focusing on my own stuff, which is great because this year we are looking into getting our own shop. I have a couple loans that I'll have paid off in the next couple months. So that's a really big possibility that we will be getting a shop. If all the finances line up correct and business keeps steady, we're getting through our slow season right now. We expect things to pick up, and we've been holding up just fine. But that's kind of the rundown of it, guys. It seemed like a great thing, and it just really didn't work out as much as I wanted it to, and as many sacrifices as I was willing to make. It just wasn't going to happen. Then to 2017 and this year, it's all about Mikey Designs and figuring out how to grow the business, getting my prices right, getting projects out on time, expanding the services that we do offer. We started offering embroidery and promotional products, and we're just gonna try and get the name out there and build things up and just roll with what we have going already, because we've established ourselves with many people and we have a lot of loyal clients. So there you have it, guys. That's it. That's what happened to the Automatic. It was a partnership that just didn't work out. And we had actually revisited here recently. Harry had me come over. Great guy. And just, it came back to, hey, let's try and make this partnership work again. And a lot of it that I had forgot to mention was because he does have 3 other companies aside from his screen printing business, his business is incorporated. So that was really difficult. He came to me again and said, hey, let's squash the corporation idea and let's just make it a 50-50 partnership on a whole nother level. I don't know, he might have touched on making me 50% owner of the corporation, but again, it went back to, it just really doesn't seem appealing to me to squash my own stuff because of an Automatic. If I play my cards right and stick to it, I'll get my own Automatic. There you have it, guys. I know it's probably a little lengthy, but there's just a lot to it, but it was very complicated, and this works for me. Going back to the basics and making it work and growing this. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. and we're going to bring you along for this journey, getting out of the house and into a shop. I'm very happy with being in the house, but also at the same time, it would be great to have a shop, wouldn't it? Stick around, we'll continue to video log and bring you along for the ride as our company grows. And hopefully it'll help you guys learn a little something out there as well. Until next time, guys, we'll see you later.